Hey guys, I'm Becky from Book Reviews and welcome to another reading vlog. Today's vlog is a special one because I'm going to do a spoiler-filled reaction video to reading a book. I have never done a spoiler-filled reaction video before, so I'm really excited about it. I would like to possibly do more of them in the future when it comes to bigger, popular books, and I honestly don't think I could have picked a better book to pick for my very first one. From the title and probably thumbnail of this video, you would already know what it is, but in case you didn't look at either of those things and just clicked on this video, we are going to be reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Now this is the, I don't know what number it technically is, but it's the fourth book in the Hunger Games trilogy that has been published. It takes place before the Hunger Games that we know of, so this is the 10th Hunger Game that has ever happened, and we are following President Snow. Now, there was a lot of controversy about this book when the description came out, and a lot of people got angry because they thought that this book was going to be a book that would try to justify why he is the way he is and what he does. Now, I was one of those people where I put this on my, I think I put it on my top 20 and 20, I put it on my 2020 most anticipated list, and then when that all came out and everyone freaked and was like, this is crap, I took it off. But then after doing some thinking, I decided to put it back on because number one, I love villains. Number two, I've always had a soft spot for Snow. I've always loved him. I've always felt that he was a very complicated villain. I decided to go ahead and try it out. I did not originally purchase this copy. I originally signed up for an Audible trial and used that free credit to to pre-order the audiobook of this, and since starting the book, I then today bought a physical copy at Target and decided to do this vlog. So here we are. I am currently on chapter 6 and I already have some thoughts, but before we get into that, I just want to talk about the physical copy of this book. Number one, the cover is green. That is my all-time favorite color, so I'm definitely loving it. I really love the dimension of this book. As you can see when I move it around, the intensity of the green is different in some areas, and also the gold foiling. I originally, even when I first picked up the book until I touched it, I thought that this was just like white or silver writing, but it's actually embossed and it's really nice. They did not waste any expense on this book. Since I bought it from Target, it had a Target 20% off sticker on the cover, and I decided to take it off before I filmed this, and unbeknownst to me, under the dust jacket is a little bit of a surprise. Look at this. I can't even believe it. I think that that's so freaking gorgeous. I love it so much. I love when there is something embossed on the cover. But now let me put this beautiful baby down and let's talk about my thoughts so far. So like I said, I am on chapter 6. So far we have met some people, and I'm just at the part where he's waiting at the train station, waiting to meet his champion for the first time. You have no idea what this book is about. We follow a teenage Snow. He's about 17, 18 years old. It's his final year of high school. It's 10 years after the war. It is the 10th, well, might be 11 years after the war. I don't know how fast after the war they started doing the Hunger Games. To be honest, it might have told me. I don't know, but it is the 10th Hunger Game, and they have decided to start doing mentors. What we know about mentors from the original 3 books of the series is that a previous winner or champion is who mentors you. And then you also have a second mentor who is from the capital. Now in this one, the only person that you have as a mentor is a person from the capital, and it is a group of teens who are in their final year of high school. They're at the top of their class. They are at the top of the food chain in terms of wealth, or at least notoriety. And it is like a slight competition with these teens as well. So whoever wins, they receive money, which I don't think it's like cash prize. I'm pretty sure that it's a scholarship to a university. And we are following Snow. He, so far, he's pretty likable. Again, I've always liked Snow, so I'm a little bit biased, so there is that, but like already, I'm only at chapter 6, and already the book could end here and I'd be like, I understand why he is the way he is. I understand why he does the things he does now, because a lot has happened to Snow. We know Snow is this very pompous person. He's from the capital. He has money, but he hasn't always had money. So his family was very rich and wealthy. They obviously lived in the capital, and they were a very prominent family. However, when the war happened, they put all their money into District 13 being their savior. And we all know what happened to District 13. So their money was gone. His father was sent to the war and died in the war. His mother died giving birth to his little sister, who also died, and he ends up being raised by his grandma and his cousin. Now, here's the really interesting part. His cousin's name is Tigra, and we all know a Tigra from the movies, so I'm just so interested and enthralled to learn more about Tigra, because she ends up helping Katniss, but yet she's Snow's cousin, like very close cousin, but at the same time, like not close enough. So what is gonna end up happening in this book? I don't know, because right now Snow and Tigris are very, very close. Like they're brother and sister. They would do anything for each other. And we've also like learned more about like some more meaning behind the white rose. It's definitely like dark and interesting. And there's this part where, you know, it's 10 years later and people are starting to rebuild, but the Snows have nothing and they are hiding it. So Tigris, as we know, eventually becomes like this big fashion icon. Right now, she's just a fashion assistant, and she helps Snow like redo his old grubby clothes to try to make them look nice again and hide the fact that they are still poor. I totally understand, and I feel like the whole philosophy of this book is going to be that even though there is a Hunger Game, your whole life is a Hunger Game. Like no matter who you are, you're still somehow involved in your own personal Hunger Game, and it's just, it's gonna be a really good book. So right now I am going to edit a vlog to go up tonight and listen to some more of this, and then I will update you guys once I do. Hey guys, so I'm now up to chapter 12, and some stuff has already gone down. Some really dark stuff has gone down, and I honestly don't know why I'm shocked, because if you remember reading The Hunger Games, it is very dark. There is a lot of terrible things that happen. It is very, very violent, and I don't know why I'm so surprised that this one would be any different. I don't know. I'm just very like I literally out loud said, oh my god. So I'm at the part where, I'm currently at the part after the snakes, but before that, the part that I said, oh my god, out loud, was when, oh god, I don't even remember her name now, but a girl is talking to her, a mentor, one of his fellow classmates, is talking to her champion, and she is egging her on and like pretending to hand her food and like take it away in front of this mob of people, which by the way, the champions are in a cage at the zoo for monkeys. Which again, like sorry to go on a side note, but like it totally makes sense of why the Hunger Games are the way they are when we read about them, because like these champions, they are transported there in a livestock train car. They weren't fed the 3 days it took to get to the capital. They are treated like dirt. Nobody cares about them. They are then put in a cage to live at the zoo until they go in, again, like not being fed. And it's just really sad, and Snow is like recognizing that internally about how he doesn't agree with how they're being treated and that they're people too, but he can't do anything like to show that he doesn't agree with it because he's a Snow and he has appearances to keep up. So it's definitely really interesting. But this fellow mentor is putting on this cruel show in front of a group of people who are at the zoo to see and watch the champions, or the fighters. What are they called? I don't know. The girl gets upset and she's able to reach a ivory handled knife and like goes to hand it to her and then like takes it away and like reprimands her, like wants her to like behave a certain way in order to get the sandwich, and then she like goes to hand it to her again, takes it away, and then she takes a bite out of it. So the champion gets upset and she's able to grab the knife, and she reaches out, grabs the mentor, pulls her to the cage. This is her own mentor, and slits her throat in front of this mass of people, which is like children and parents. And I was I was very shocked. And then the peacekeepers shoot and kill that champion in front of these people, and like everyone is either just like too shocked to react or like running away, so no one is even like going up to the mentor to try to save her. And Snow ends up going up to her, and I mean, like they're not best friends, but they've grown up together their whole lives. And so he's like just like very upset and like trying to save her, and he's just like describing how like the blood is seeping out of her neck, and if he tries to give her CPR, is the air just gonna come out of her neck. Like, oh, it was very, very gruesome, and I don't know why I'm so shocked because there were some awful things that happened in Hunger Games, and I don't know why I thought this would be any different. But then, before that happened, they were assigned, Snow, this mentor, and another one were assigned to write up this essay of a way that they can make the Hunger Games more profitable and watchable, because right now not a lot of people watch them because they don't want to. No surprise there. So they're supposed to write up this essay and this proposal to bring to the game warden, but because the one is killed, they agree like that they can't work on the essay, that they're too upset. But Snow is like so upset that he can't just like sit still, so he decides to work on the essay, and he's also scared that maybe the game warden will expect it to still be done. So he writes it, he turns it in, and then they go to her office to talk to her about the essay, and they've decided that he's gonna cover for her and say that they still wrote it together. The game warden's like asking them about how they wrote it and stuff, and so the thing is that like they worked together on it. It was, you know, all the ideas that like the class was coming up with before that those three were elected to be the writers of the essay. And then Snow wrote it up, he sent it to her, she printed it out, dropped it off at his house, and then he turned it in. In theory, and like the warden just like keeps asking him all these weird questions, like, so you both touched it and stuff like that. There's a cage of vipers in the warden's office, and she asked them to like tell her about the essay, and they're like, well, we don't have a copy of it, could we just borrow the copy that we gave you? And she's like, oh, my assistants mistaked your essay for bedding, so it's in the viper tank. And she's like, but feel free to go get it. And so Snow is like, so you just want us to reach in there and get these? And she's like, it should be fine. And so like Snow reaches his hand in and he grabs a sheet with no problem. And it's the girl's turn and her hand's in there. And then the game warden explains that they can't see very well and they can't hear very well, but they can smell very well. And if they smell something that they are used to, like home, then they'll have no problem. But if there's an outside smell, they'll take it as a threat and attack. And the girl like goes to rip her hand out because she realizes that since they've been laying on these papers, they know Snow's smell, but they don't know hers because she did not ever touch these papers like she's claiming. But before she can rip her hands out, all the vipers attack and latch onto her, and like peacekeepers run in and they like shoot, or I don't know if they're peacekeepers, they might have just been like other scientists, but they run in and they like shoot her with an anti-venom, like rush her to like the hospital wing. I'm just like, oh my God. And then Snow goes and like visits her, and they tell him that she will probably recover. She probably won't die, but even if she recovers, she may have neurological damage. What? Like, it's so crazy. And again, I don't know why I'm so shocked. I don't know why I thought this wouldn't be super gruesome, but it's been so long since I read Hunger Games. So, needless to say, I'm really, really enjoying it. I love darker stuff and I love gruesome stuff, so I'm just like really, really in it. So far it's really great. Hey guys, so I am now on chapter 12, which is page 172. Lucy has just done her performance in front of the Capitol where she sang with a guitar that Snow got for her. I'm just really loving this. Number one, I really loved her song. I wish that I could hear it because the audio narrator just reads it like it's a poem, which is really pretty, but like I want to know like what tune is it? Is it upbeat? Is it sorrowful? Like what? I gotta know what genre. But I did really, really enjoy it. I am so loving this book so far. I still cannot get over the amount of just awful atrocities that the Capitol is doing. I don't know why I'm so shocked, but I think it's just because it's been so long since I've been in this world, and the things that they do to these poor kids is just awful. And compared to what Snow ends up doing later, it's like, it's so much better, but it's still awful. And I can't wait to find out like why he was willing to play a part in it, because now Snow is at a point in his life where he's saying like he's sorry for even participating in the games, and he's sorry for the way that the champions are being treated, and it's just crazy that he ends up being the president and perpetuating the games. I cannot wait to find out why. Like the scene where the girl that slit the one girl's throat, she is hanging from a crane, her dead body is, and is paraded through the city with all of the other champions like locked in this truck bed of like a cage. Like, oh my god. And then just now the twins died because they went to go visit the games arena and somebody planted bombs. So a bunch of the tributes tried to run away and they were caught or killed. And so the ones that ran and were caught, they were drug behind horses. It's like, oh my god. The things that these kids have to see is just completely outrageous, and it's just totally insane. And to see it from a person who is like adjacent to it all and then later goes on to preside over it all is just crazy. So I really can't wait to see what ends up turning Snow bad, because right now he doesn't want these things to happen. So I'm very, very curious. I will say the one thing that is really ticking me off about my audiobook is the chapters are super off. So according to Audible, I am on chapter 18, but in reality, I'm on chapter 12. Oh, there is one other thing. There was a mention, Lucy talks about a mockingjay, and I'm just like, oh my god. There's so many things that are being mentioned that remind me of Katniss, and it just explains everything of why Snow felt such a kinship and had this like bleeding heart for Katniss, and it's because she reminds him of Lucy Gray. I'm pretty positive that Lucy ends up winning. I'm pretty positive that she does. My only thing though is I don't want to look it up because I don't want to know either way, but I'm pretty sure she does. But then like what happens then? How come like her and Snow aren't like best friends and she totally changed his life, and when he became president he got rid of the games? Like what is in store for us? What ruins Snow? Like I'm sure something is going to happen with Lucy that ends up ruining him, because she is the whole reason that he has all of this sentimental and softness of him. So what is going to ruin him? I can't wait to find out. Hey guys, so right now I'm at my little brother's house. Him and his girlfriend are out of town right now, and I am watching their cats. Their one cat is diabetic, so I have to come here twice a day to give her insulin, and I don't like to just let animals be alone and just check on them the minimum amount. So in the mornings I usually stay here for at least 2 to 3 hours, if not my entire work day, and then come again later at night just to do a real quick check on them and the house and to give her medicine. But I wanted to update you guys because I have read a pretty big chunk of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes last night. Holy cow. So I'm now on page like 397, basically page 400, and we have a lot to talk about. So the games have happened. To be honest, they were not as bad and violent as I expected them to be. I think it's because we expect the games to be violent. It's the stuff that happens before and after the games that's really shocking. But Lucy did win. However, Snow did a lot of bad and illegal things, and they end up finding out. So even though he has won and he technically wins everything, he gets punished instead because he basically cheated. So he's been stripped of everything. His family has lost their house, and he is now a peacekeeper in District 12 because he wants to try to find Lucy, because he was told that she went back to District 12. So now we're in District 12. We have found Lucy, and I'm just waiting for the other foot to drop, because we all know that Lucy is not around when the 3 Hunger Games books are out. I can't remember if she's alive in book 1, but for sure she's not alive in book 2. I don't think she was. I think she's the only other person from District 12 besides Haymitch that has won, and I'm pretty positive that she is dead. And Haymitch is an alcoholic. I don't know. I really don't know. The part just happened where Lucy is singing a song, which is the Hangman song that we know from Hunger Games. And it's just crazy. And now we know why that song was created, because of something that happens in District 12. Now it just has me wondering, did Suzanne Collins know this is how she wanted Snow's backstory to be before she wrote the Hunger Games, or did this come after? Like, were the books written in order of her coming up with ideas? Because if in fact, like, all of these things that she put into Hunger Games and so forth, she knew that she was going to end up writing this book, or that this is where they came from, wow. Wow. Because there's just a whole lot happening that really reminds us of Katniss, and it completely explains why he had such a soft spot for Katniss, but at the same time he didn't. So I know something's gonna happen. I know that Lucy's no longer around, and she's like the same age as Snow, so she should be around. She didn't die in the games, so I'm just waiting for something really bad to happen. And I can't wait to find out what it is that makes Snow turn bad, because right now Snow is a pretty decent guy. Like, he's pretty selfish, but I feel like anybody would in this situation. Like, all they care about is just surviving and their family surviving. So anybody would do anything just to survive. He's talking about how he doesn't agree with the games. He's apologized for even taking part in the games. He talks about how inhumanely they're treated, and that he doesn't agree that they should be going on, and when are we going to stop punishing the districts? So what is going to happen where he completely changes his mindset? I have a theory. It'd be crazy if it is what happened. So as we all know, after catching fire, Peeta has been kidnapped by the Capitol, and they end up brainwashing him so that he's on their side, believes that what they're doing is correct, and that Katniss is the enemy. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen to Snow. Like, is he going to end up killing Lucy? I don't know if it's going to go that far, but is he going to end up being brainwashed where he's against Lucy? Or is he going to get brainwashed where he just believes that the Capitol is correct, and so that's what ends up splitting them up? Although he has a soft spot for Katniss, I think it's just because she reminds him of Lucy. She's from District 12. She makes a big showing at the Reaping. She has all the attention on her, even though she's like a total underdog and has no chance of winning. She sings the song that Lucy sings. She has the same fire. She's known as the Mockingjay. Like, there's all these things that would remind him of Lucy. So is it going to be that Katniss broke his spell and he was actually under mind control, or what? I don't know. This book it's so well written. It is so good. And then we also have this character, Sejamis. He's totally, I'm sorry if you can hear the cats are playing in the background, but he's such a bleeding heart, and all of his ideas are correct. Like, he doesn't agree with the games. He's actively, like, rebelling. He's just really walking a fine line. And the fact that Snow kind of agrees with what he's saying Snow gets lumped with him, and now Sejamis looks to him as a best friend, his only friend, and Snow kind of gets punished for things that Sejamis does. So on one hand, I'm like, I agree with you, Sejamis, but also he's a dangerous, dangerous friend. He hasn't admitted it, but he is a rebel, and he's gonna get Snow killed. We know that's not the case, but then does Snow have to do something in order to stop that from happening? Like, Sejamis has actually said that he is suicidal. So, this poor boy. But my whole point is that Snow has said to him, basically, you need to continue to go on because you can make a difference in the world. Snow's not telling him to be a rebel, which is what Sejamis kind of thought is what he was saying, but he's saying that, you can change the treatment of the tributes and that he can slowly start to make changes because they're nobodies. Like, they can't change the world, they can't change Panem, but they can work to make changes to the games and stuff like that and start somewhere. But the thing is although that's true, and although the Hunger Games that we know happen today, well, not today, but by the 76th Hunger Game, we know that the tributes are treated a lot better. They are living in the lap of luxury as soon as they are chosen. They are treated completely humane until they go into the arena, and then whoever wins gets to live in a big fancy house in Champion Lane, and their district gets money and prizes, and their family gets money and prizes, and they're taken care of, like, basically for the rest of their life. So Snow, I think, or maybe it is Sejamis, ends up making those changes, but Snow ends up being in power. He becomes the president, so he would then have the power to stop the games from happening, and he doesn't. So what the heck is going to happen in this book where he completely changes his whole entire ideology? Like, I just need to know, and I'm almost there. I only have like 100 and some pages left, but it's just, oh, it's so good. But alright guys, I'm gonna go to work now, and when I finish this book, I will check in with you. But so far, this is amazing. I really hope the ending doesn't let me down. Oh, I hope it doesn't. And since I've talked about the cats, I figured I would show you them. So this is Miss Lucy. She's the one that is diabetic. She is so freaking little. She's just a little tiny baby thing. This is the book sleeve that I'm using for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because it's perfect. Even though it's for Serpent and Dove, it's still a snake and a bird, which is perfect. And then here we have our two boys. This is Pippi and his brother Percy. They're so cute. But alright, I'm going to work now. Hey guys, I have officially finished the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and let's go ahead and talk about it. I definitely had mixed feelings at first. So I finished this yesterday, and I decided to take a day just to really think about it and figure out what I wanted to give it because I was a little bit conflicted. So as you guys know, I really enjoyed this. I really loved the world. It was so fun, which is a strange word to use, but it was fun to come back into this world and see all of the absolute atrocities and horrors that happen in this book. There was definitely a whole lot of death. I'm really not sure if the Hunger Games was more shocking or this one was, because I feel like a whole lot of like senseless death happened. I mean, The Hunger Games is pretty freaking senseless as well, but a lot of the death that we experience in The Hunger Games, the first book, it's more of the tributes during the games, and in this one, it's all kinds of people. So it was definitely very interesting. It was, as you guys know, very jarring to come back into this world and remember just how dark and violent it is. But I will say that it was very interesting to get to know Snow. So like I said in the beginning, I had some apprehensions when going into this book because I didn't want Snow to be justified for why he is the way he is. And now that I have finished it, I feel like that's not necessarily the case. I can definitely understand how he became the way he is, and I can understand why he would choose this path. I also feel like I can't say there was no hope for Snow, because he definitely had a moment where he could have redeemed himself and not been the person that he becomes. However, fear plays a really big factor in this book. Not only fear of the government and the game maker, but also mostly just fear of judgment and people deciding who Snow is based on his wealth and his status. And it was truly Snow's downfall. I myself am not a big risk taker. I follow the rules. So I understand why he would do some of the things that he did that were a bit morally gray, especially when it comes to Sejamis. Now, I understand why he turned him in. He was breaking the law, and doing what they've grown up to believe is wrong. Now, the problem I have with it is that Snow knows that what Sejamis is doing is right and better for the people, but it's still breaking the law, and Snow knew that Sejamis was a very, very dangerous character and a dangerous friend to have, which is something that I mentioned to you guys as well, is that Sejamis is doing what's right, but he's so radical and impulsive that he becomes a really dangerous person. Snow wanted him to make change and to try and get rid of the games and change the way that the government's run, but he wanted him to do it in the correct way. And unfortunately, that way is a very slow process, and that's something that we all struggle with, I feel, on a daily basis, of things need to change in this world, but in order to do it correctly, it's going to take a very long time. And some people frankly cannot wait for it to happen. They need it to happen right now. And Sejamis was one of those characters. He wanted to make change, he wanted to make it right now, he wanted to do whatever he could to make it happen, and he couldn't wait. And I think that a big factor of why Sejamis couldn't wait is his depression and anxiety. And I don't know if, I feel like Sejamis knew that he would not survive if he didn't do it now. So in terms of Sejamis, I've pretty much wrapped my head around Snow's decisions and his role in that. However, when it comes to Lucy Gray, wow, I really didn't see that coming. I mean, it makes sense because Snow has basically lost his mind. He is super paranoid. He is so afraid of judgment and people thinking the wrong thing of him. He is so focused on becoming a success and becoming the president of Panem that he becomes extremely paranoid and kills everybody closest to him. He has betrayed Sejamis. We don't really know whether or not he killed Lucy, but it's safe to say he probably did, and honestly, we're not sure if Lucy was betraying him. And that is the part that I just felt so hard for, because I don't know if that was her intention. Maybe she really was going to run away with him and be happy, but we all know that Snow would not be happy like that. He wants people to know who he is. He wants to have money and power, and he would not have had that life with Lucy. I definitely think that he deals with a lot of grief and guilt when it comes to Lucy because of what later ends up happening when he meets Katniss. But it was very intense, and I felt very let down when the audiobook ended. I had to reread the epilogue to really wrap my head around what actually happened, because I felt like this book started so high and then it was just kind of like a downer of like basically Snow losing his mind and killing everybody. But once I reread the epilogue, I decided to move it from a 4-star to a 5-star. And that's because mostly of how much I enjoyed it and how much I took away from this book. It's not necessarily how much I like Snow, because I still don't like Snow, which I'm really happy that that is what I am taking away from this. I'm really, really happy that he is not justified and becomes somebody that we care for and feel sorry for. I really appreciate that. But the epilogue was just so intense once you really read through that he is now at a point where he's taken over Sejamis's family to shower him with gifts and love because they lost his son, all because of Snow. I mean, Sejamis probably would have died a different way. I feel like that was Sejamis's fate because of his beliefs and his radical actions. However, Snow's the one that really killed him, and he takes over his family, he goes to university, he becomes powerful, he becomes the president, and he also kills the dean because the dean always messed with him. And I feel like he also felt that the dean was a threat in his future because the dean never liked him. The dean never wanted the Hunger Games to happen, even though unfortunately he is the creator of the Hunger Games, but it was a drunken joke, and Snow's father decided to turn it in and take the grade. So I feel like after I reread it and really understood what happened in that last chapter, I really, really appreciated everything that happened. I really think that this book is worth your time, especially if you love the Hunger Games. If you didn't love the books and you don't love the violence, then this is not the book for you, because this is another very, very dark, depressing ending of a book. And if you're not a big fan, I don't think this is for you. I think that you will end up feeling very lackluster, and maybe like the max star rating you would give it is 3. But for me, somebody that has always loved Hunger Games, always loved darker books, this was a really, really interesting and fun read. I thought it was a great addition to the series. Like I said, I was so worried that we would end up feeling sorry and feel pity and feel like Snow is justified in the things that he does and his role in all of this, but I don't feel that way. I feel like it accurately portrayed why he became the way he is, but that none of it was justified. It just explained what happened, and it doesn't give him an excuse for why he is the way he is, because he had so many opportunities to change and he decided not to. Definitely be sure to leave down below in the comments if you guys have read this, what you thought of it, and also let me know how you enjoyed this spoiler vlog. I would definitely be interested in doing this again in the future with some more popular books like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, where a lot of people are probably going to read it and would enjoy a spoiler-filled review. So definitely be sure to let me know if you want something like this again, and I will try to make it happen. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it and you want to see more bookish content from me, please hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified as soon as my videos go live here on YouTube, hit the notification bell. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!